To the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room Podcast Edition. I'm a woman, I am of color, and I am handicapable, but most importantly, I am human. Well, if you guys listened to the part two of the series, you're going to see that I am still learning the editing and I'm still looking for a different site program to work on my edits and everything. I'm still learning the craft, but so please excuse, like, you normally I'm a perfectionist and everything, but earlier this year when I decided that I wanted to go ahead and do the YouTube channel, after a lot of people would tell me you would fail, don't do it, or well, some had very harsh words to me, or basically told me, if you do this, then A, B, and C will happen. So, and even now it's kind of funny. While I was still dating, because yeah, part of me is just at the point where I'm like, do I really want to get back into dating? No, I don't. It's like the male specimen bank is a beautiful blessing to the public and as for technology. So, anyway, um, it's just like I'm normally a perfectionist and everything, but part of me had to realize you're learning. And right now, you are writing your books, and you're like, I can only draw stick figures. So I think, like, I'm blessed to have the wonderful illustrator that I do have. So it's like, but I have to create the art boards, and there is a language barrier. So sometimes it's like I need to redirect or show her more concrete items that I'm talking about for her to draw, because even biscuits, that took a while. So, but like working, creating my own website and creating different like versions and streams of income and products that will go along with my books and items. And then also, I want to start interviewing and talking to different people about different subjects that maintain or kind of include the disability community, people of color, especially African American culture and things, because a lot of people don't know, or I'll say in my opinion, even though we all see it in front of us, the Republican Party is trying to hide African American culture, who we are, and our identity and our history and everything. So, and then also women and like, yeah, a combination of all of that. So I'm going to be in the works for that. That's hopefully going to start in 2024. My goal is maybe around springtime, and then I'm going to be doing book reviews and doing that stuff for the Handicapable Nerd channel. And I'm trying to get some lyric ideas so I can uh, find somebody to help me create a theme song. And let's just say the list goes on, but I'm never bored because I also have my other job too, which, yeah, it's like this past weekend, some of the emails and questions I was getting from the job and everything. I'm like, huh, yeah, it's like people don't appreciate the educational career and the people who do it and the people who are dedicated that do it. So, but okay, I think that's enough of that for now. I might mention, actually, I'm probably going to mention my goals and dreams later on because it's kind of included with part three of the war of dating and everything. So I've been kind of talking about a combination of the oyster lady, yeah, the oyster lady, cheesecake lady, and then personal experience. And I don't know, it's just when I see women going out to dinner with men that they know they are not in any way interested in, they're messing it up for honest women or women who are actually looking for men who to start an actual relationship, because by the time I meet them or get them, next thing I know, they're just trying to play me. But no, it's like, but oh no, no, men don't think I'm caught like, because some of you guys, your bark is really loud. Um, because some of you gentlemen, because this is one reason why I am determined to be as independent as I can on a date. I I go Dutch. I try to pay for myself, even if the guy's like, no, no, let me, no, no. Is he? And it's at the point where one of the last times I let the guy drive me, he literally afterwards, or after we had coffee and everything like that, he drove me to a park and told me that I had to do him a favor, quote unquote, in order for him to take me home. And then the one before that, because over the phone, because we were texting, we were calling throughout the week, but it was at the end of the week, he was like, oh, I got to meet you. You're amazing. Wow, you're smart. And it's like, I've never had conversation, stuff like this, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, okay, cool. It's like, I was kind of excited. But then he said, okay, I'll take you out to eat for either brunch or lunch or whatever. And then after, maybe we can drive to a coffee house and we can just chit chat, talk, and get to know each other more. And I was like, that sounds wonderful. That's perfect. Well, he picked me up and he was a little late, but he has daughters. He ran behind and everything. And I was like, you know what? You're a dad. I understand that. That is like being a parent's like the hardest job and everything. So, but we went out to well lunch. But yeah, I never turned down pancakes, so I had a breakfast meal for lunch and everything. And he had his meal, and it was really funny because I think he got nervous because one of the, not our waitress, but another waitress kept hitting on him and trying to get his attention. And I think he did not like that I didn't care, because to me, I'm just like, okay, well, if you find out that I'm not the one you're looking for, if you figure out that you'd rather have the waitress than me, then just drop me off at the house after. It's like, I'm not gonna, I've only talked to you for about a week. It's okay. So, but after, it's like, we get back in the car and I'm thinking, okay, now it's the coffee house. Wow, he's driving and everything, and I don't really know his city that well. So I'm just thinking we're driving from where, like, there was a lot of businesses, but then we started driving through the houses or like subdivisions and everything on the street. So I'm just thinking, okay, once we pass through this area, it's going to be another major intersection and we'll see more businesses again. Well, I remember it was a school bus that was going by, and I thought we were just waiting for the bus to get the students off the bus or whatever. And next thing I know, he turns on the street to a subdivision. I'm like, hold up, okay. And then we get into a driveway, and I'm looking at him like, I was like, this isn't a coffee house. And he's like, oh my gosh, wow, I'm so sorry. I forgot. I didn't even ask you. I meant to ask you if I could take you home. And I'm just like, how'd you forget? But yeah, I'll say the full, well, I mean, I said like a quick summary version. I'm going to say the full story in another podcast. But one thing that was really funny is while I'm getting out of the vehicle, the the young gentleman that got off the bus, it's like I ended up getting whistled at, and one of the teenagers yelled out, "You got her? You got her? How'd you get her? It's like, she beautiful. I like, hey, you beautiful, ma'am, you beautiful." And he was like, I just want to make sure you knew that if he didn't tell you, I want to tell you. And so I just remember kind of laughing in a way. But yeah, that was a interesting one. But after both of those encounters, yeah, it's like now I will feel more comfortable, either me driving or me getting an Uber or a ride from someone I trust, because both times I was put in an uncomfortable situation. And a lot of these men, they get upset when I ask questions and I try to find out and figure them out as much as humanly possible. And it's just to the point where when it comes to dating, sometimes men end up mad at me for protecting myself. And some men feel like, oh, she doesn't trust me. She doesn't trust me. I'm different. I'm not like, okay, ladies, how many times have you heard this from a man? I'm not like every other man. Am I that other man? Am I that other guy? No, I'm different. But then within either on the first date or maybe a couple to a few months later, you find out they're doing the same exact thing the past men have done. It's like even though you try to trust them, even though you try to, have a connection. So, and that's why like some women might start using men, because that's why I said like sometimes men turn into bad guys because women take advantage of the good guys. And then sometimes good women turn to bad women because men take advantage and either force or try to make the woman do things that they don't want to do. And so for payback, the women switches it up like, well, I'm getting a free dinner. I'm getting a free meal. It's like for all the stuff you men put me through. So is it good? No, it's very toxic. Very extremely toxic. And so, okay, I'm going to talk more about these two example ladies because, especially with the cheesecake lady, I mean, the guy opened the door for her. He was a gentleman. He made reservations. And that's the thing. She was complaining about going to the Cheesecake Factory, complaining about how the date was going to go when it's like she didn't know how the date was going to go. And for me, I try to base a date off of the guy's personality, not where I'm at, not with what we're doing. Because, yes, I could be having fun, but I might be having fun because of the activity we're doing, not because of the person I'm doing the activity with. There's a huge difference. And that's why, like, some women, they they have a false image of who they are dating. And that's why normally I just want simple, basic dates. And it's like I want a little creativity, but I want it simple. Because especially now it's the fall season. And it's like I did kind of get offered to go on dates, but it's like with one of the guys, I was like, okay, you're a jerk. Because he was like, oh, what do you have in mind? And I said, oh well, it's the fall season. It's like maybe going to a cider mill, getting some warm cider and some donuts, and we can just sit and chat or something. It's like to me that sounds cool. Or even like maybe taking them to a library, find a study room, we can find some books or something like that and chit chat. And for some people that's boring, but remember, I'm a nerd. I am a nerd, so and yeah, his remark was, "Oh, yeah, you are like one of these white girl wannabes, aren't you?" Okay, yeah, yeah, that's a no then. And he was like, "What? What are you talking about?" I was like, "Yeah, it's not going to be a match, but it's like I hope you find who you're looking for." Oh, you some stupid B word, blah blah blah. And it's like he went on, and then he was like, "Don't you realize?" It's like I got 9 inches of whatever. And I'm just like, I don't care. It's like, I care more on if you have brain cells that you can rub together. I want to know if you have brain cells that actually work. I want to know how you're able to take information and turn it into a conversation and dialogue. It's like now you're trying to tell me how many inches. Like, okay, it's like I know like some say it doesn't matter. It's like I'm not gonna say it doesn't matter, but at the same time, it's like it matters more how many inches of snow we have, in my opinion. Because if the guy has a true, genuine heart, if he's able to communicate and talk, if he is sharing and compassionate and empathetic, that's what I'm looking for. Because those characteristics don't go away. And yes, I know at the senior citizens home, once Viagra was made, it's like they had a little STD issue, but it's like at some point his hips aren't gonna work that great to use it anyway. So what's gonna be the point? So I'm looking for the emotional, the compassionate, like for the actual human connection, not the bodily connection. Do I want that? Yes, but after those 15, or it's like, oh yeah, like let's just say, yeah, some of these guys, after 10 to 15 minutes, so what are we gonna do then? What are we gonna do then? Because if you can't talk, or if you don't know, especially I'm a nerd, like I said, so yeah, it's harder to. I've had a lot of, and that's another amazing thing. I don't know if it's good or bad, but I keep getting guys who say, I'm not used to women being able to talk like you do. Oh my gosh, it's like, wow, you know a lot about this topic, or you know how to expand on A, B, and C and stuff. And it's just like, it's not that hard. It's not that hard. And also, back to the compatibility and men getting mad at me. It's like on my profile, I try to save time. And so I say I'm a progressive, a Democrat, liberal. And a lot of Republicans get mad at me because it's like they see my profile, they see we're not compatible, but then they want to take it out on me. Okay, we're not a one party country. We're not in a dictatorship, even though that's what Trump wants, in my opinion. But we all know. But yeah, he keeps quoting Hitler. So, and his followers keep quoting Hitler. So, but yeah, in my opinion, I'll repeat it again. But it's just amazing because I say who I am. I am honest with who I am and how I identify. And so when men who see how I identify see that I have a different opinion than them, then they want to come and just try to mess with my mental health just to make their day better. They want to bully me just to make they need to spend more time on the dating app to try to find people who love the red hat, people who love that orange man. Yeah, yeah. So I'm not one of them, and I'm not going to be one of them. And it's like with vaccination, it's like I used to not care if the guy was, because like I cared, but I didn't, because like part of me was like I cared because I was like, okay, if you get it, I just hope that if you have asthma or anything like that, that you that you don't end up in the hospital, that you can get through it and everything like that. But I didn't add vaccination to my list until men started calling me every name in the book once I say, yeah, I'm vaccinated, and oh, I need to go get a booster. Oh, you're one of those stupid B words or C words or W words or whatever. And it's just like, oh, okay, again, this again. And I got one of those this weekend. So I will be sharing that on Dating Nightmares. I got a lot of interesting ones in Dating Nightmares. So check out my community. You'll get a sneak peek if you look in my community. So, because usually I don't share the actual picture or one of the pictures, but this past weekend, part of me just felt like, you know what? Each day this weekend, I'm gonna put out a picture of a sneak peek of the type of messages I get. And I only did one each day. And I got one tonight too. And I'm like, oh, I think I already shared the one for today. So, but I almost have enough for about 100 episodes now. So, but it's called Ladies, Gentlemen. If you see a profile and you see that you are not compatible, even if you're attracted to that person or you wish you can have someone like that person, don't be mad at that person. They are an individual. They have their own opinion. They have their own state of mind. So just leave them be and try to find someone else that has similar characteristics that you like. That you like. Don't go and bully, harass, torment, be vile, vicious, ugly, and act like you have a black soul or something like that. Why show that you're a villain? Why show your ugly side? It's like if you want to, because now, now that you've shown your ugly side, I'm going to show it. And I'm going to show it because it's like the world needs to know. It's like some men try to hide it or they get on dating sites and they're as vile and vicious and ugly as possible. But then it's their little secret. They don't want anyone to know. Well, it's like I'm still not that big of a channel yet, but I'm almost at 3,000, so I'm excited. So thank you guys. It's like, oh, but yeah, comment. Comment, comment, comment. It's like I've got a lot of quiet people, so yeah, it's like I'm kind of an introvert, but it's like I'm an introverted extrovert, so but please don't be shy, comment, rate, like, yeah, because even rate the monsters. Like, I have the games, the three words, three afters. So, but okay, I'll stop there, but it's like I want this to be kind of like one big, like, kind of family, big group where we come together. We can talk about either the political spectrum, especially my river of racism, it's like the dating nightmares and the monsters that lurk in on the dating apps and everything. Because when we use dating apps and then when we go to dinner, when we go out to get like to experience a lovely night with somebody, sometimes we end up with a monster. Sometimes we end up with someone who just wants to use us, either use us for a free meal or use our body, and they don't care about us as an individual. They don't care about us as someone with emotions, feelings, and self value. And some of them don't understand that that can mess with our mental health. And so when people want to take advantage, they don't understand the full scope of it. They don't understand how that can turn to anger and revenge. It's like that can get really messy. Because with the lady at the Cheesecake Factory, her date planned a date. He made reservations. He made reservations, and now I'm gonna need a part four because I gotta talk about Cheesecake Factory because yeah, I like the mom and pop shops and I like small businesses because it's like with capitalism, I'm like, you know what? No, no, no. I wanna help and support the small businesses, give them because everybody already knows about Chili's and Olive Garden and Fridays and the Cheesecake Factory and everything like that. But at the same time, if a man took me to Cheesecake Factory, hey, they got good food. I'm not going to complain. It's like later that week, I might try to go to a mom and pop shop to support and, you know, support with money and everything like that. But yeah, I'll talk about that in the next episode. But she was late. She did not communicate. She could have texted him while she was at, because she said she didn't know she had all this work to do at work. It was unexpected. She has a cell phone. She has a cell phone. And it's like, so then she made him wait in his vehicle for an hour. He was patient and he was a gentleman. And even when they got to the parking lot, he jumped out of that car and opened the door for her. It's like, yeah, some men open the door for me and everything, but normally because they want to see how big my, is. And sometimes they're not even shy about it either. So it's like, okay. I'm glad I wore something long. Yeah, I'm really glad I wore something long because that's when, especially as a sapiosexual, it's like I don't know, like I want you to get to know who I am. I want you, like, yes, like with, well, when it comes to looks, we all have a type and everything like that, and I get that. But sometimes it's just frustrating when guys see that I'm a curvy or voluptuous woman and you can tell that's all they're looking for, that's all they want. They don't care who I am. They just care about the assets that come with who I am. So it's just it's just annoying because when you see women like the oyster lady who ignored this guy until he offered to take her out, when you see a woman who she finds out she's going to be overloaded with work, you see that she's going to leave her date in the parking lot for an hour. But then when they got to the parking lot, it's like, and then she's videotaping this. I'm like, why are you videotaping yourself acting selfish, obnoxious, and just like shallow? Because she was like, all of this was like, do I look like a woman to be taking the Cheesecake Factory? Or like, do you know? Okay, that's not a cheat. That's not. Yeah, one don't knock down. It's like, because like I said, it's like, yes. I mean, even though it Cheesecake Factory, like the way they do their business, and I hear that like the way they treat their employees is pretty good. So that's one reason why with the commercial restaurants is like if someone took me there, I'm like, hey, you know what? At least you took me to a place where the employees are taken care of, and we're gonna make sure they get tipped well tonight. So, but it's just amazing because we're at a point where we shouldn't be like this. You would think that once we become adults, or especially 25 to 30, we would mature and we would understand how to treat the other person like we want to be treated. And because that's one thing that it's like, and I don't, yeah, trust me, I'm not going to be preaching or anything like that, but that's just one thing from the Bible or the good book. But it's like, I can't believe how many times I have to remind people of that and tell people of that. Because sometimes people tell me about a story or a dating situation or whatever, and then I'm listening to it and I'm hearing some of the things they did, and I'm just like, hold up, hold up, hold up. Would you like for someone to have done that to you? No, but it's like, oh, he'll get over it. He's patient, like, or he tolerated it. Like, okay, no, but now you're mad that he did these things, but maybe it's because you did what you did. Oh, but he's a man. It's like, no, no, no. It's like, or I have the men who tell me, oh, she's a woman. She's supposed to like take my emotions or take my blah blah blah. And I'm just like, hold on, like, no. So maybe, guys, we need to start treating each other like we would want to be treated. And remember respect. Remember self value, or remember our own self value so then we can return it to someone else. Because that's what we're missing now. And it's toxic, very toxic. But if you guys wouldn't mind, subscribe, also like and comment. Don't be shy again. Please don't be shy. But at the end of the day, I'm a woman. I am of color. and I am handy capable. But most importantly, I am human.